our story map or our story arc, thinking about the different scenes that we would have in our story. And this is after having already built a character and thought about a problem for that character in a possible setting. Now we're going to start to then layer in that first scene or our lead or our intro. Your goal here is to introduce the character, the setting, and hint at the problem. Okay. Here, I've got a character already, and this character's name, I haven't quite settled on it. I'm going to settle on it as I go in my writing. The character's name is Tom, or Tim or George. I'm going to settle on Tom for today. He's 12 years old, has short blonde hair. He's short and small for his age, but he's also really sporty, and he plays a lot of soccer, and he's really good. School is not so great, and that's going to kind of get into his problem because he's going to have a problem where he's going to have a project he needs to do. He gets really excited about things, and it causes him to forget answers to problems. It gets a little bit messy, that sort of thing. There are three different ways that I can go about starting my intro as I want to get people started. I could start with a description. I could kind of paint a little bit of the picture. So this is really introducing them to the setting. I could then go through, I could do another one where I might decide that I want to start with some action, something that happens, maybe a noise of some sort. I could also do it where I start with some dialogue or speaking between two characters. I'm going to model what that looks like for each of these. Same character, same problem, three different ways to start. Again, I'm going to start with my indent, and then in here, I'm going to start with the description. And here, I'm imagining in the beginning, it's probably happening at school, starting on the recess field, because I'm going to transition that back into the next scene where he's in the classroom. Um, there were tons of kids out on the field. Um, or the grass field had kids playing soccer, um, flyers up football, flyers up football, and tag. But Tom, I'm going to go back here because I want to get this here. Let's see here. Maybe this one here for instead of saying soccer, they're playing catch. With base or kids were playing catch with balls, flyers up, football and tag. But Tom was playing soccer like he always did. And this starts to hint. This part here is hinting a little bit about that's one of his favorite things. Again, I want to make sure that they're kind of like little nuggets that I'm laying for my reader, like he always did. He played soccer almost almost every chance he got, including playing on a select team outside school. Sun was beating down on this beautiful spring day. Okay, so I've started to learn who he is. Tom was dashing through other kids with ball. It was like they couldn't even touch him. Um, and he scored goal after goal, and trying to make sure that people understand exactly who he is. Okay. With the next part, where I might say, the bell rang and away they went to class. Usually lagged behind the others, trying to play for as long as he could. When back to class, we found out they were taking a math test. Oh, great, thought to himself. I want to make sure that the reader understands that that's something that he doesn't feel very good about, right? So you're starting to get the idea that he likes sports, not so much school. Um, when the The test was passed out. He stared at it for a few minutes. His mind went blank. Here at this point, I can start to you can start to see that he's somebody who maybe is not thinking about it, or maybe he's struggling with it. And I want to leave that as a little bit of a kind of think of it as like an Easter egg for your reader that they're going, oh, he's not really out dialed that into school right now, which again help as he gets into that later problem. Go forward, I could start with some action. Here, I might just start where the bell rings. Here, I might start without that part in the beginning with the soccer field. I might go ding, ding, ding. The school bell rang, and kids um, yelled all out, all on yelled from from the recess field. Kids came screaming um, through the gates back to their classrooms. All of them except Tom and the other kid playing soccer. They played until the final whistle, the one where the recess teacher finally mad that they have ignored the bell. You know what that sounds like when you're out on the playground where there's some people who still stick around just a little bit longer. And that's Tom, right? He's hanging out there. That's what I envision in my head. Ignored the bell. Tweet, tweet. The sound of the whistle. It might be a little bit different than that, but tweet, tweet is kind of what I figure. Um, get yourselves to class. Um, Ms. Edwards. Again, I want to make sure that my names are not people that I would normally know. So I'm not going to use Mr. C. I'm not going to use other people from our recess field. I want to use people that other people could maybe just decide that they can relate. People can relate to somebody, a recess teacher telling them to do something. It gets harder once you start naming them somebody that they might already picture. Miss Ezra yelled through the megaphone. Here, then I could continue on with this part about the part about the math test and them running back in. But I've got this action. I've got a little bit of the noise, the kids running. That part is I'm now to know that they're at a school. I can see that they're outside a little bit. I can start to picture that. Last part is we could be that there's some dialogue. And here, this one gets a little bit tricky. So for this, I might say, "Hey, that was a foul." Um, one kid on the field or on the soccer field said, "Oh, no, it wasn't. You fell down on your own," Tom replied as he raced towards goal. Tom loved soccer and was always playing it at recess. Other kids often fell down or looked kind of silly as he raced by them. Here, I might use some of the same things that I used from up above, but here I've got this part of the dialogue where they start speaking. Down below, I might come in here and then, um, nice goal, George. I use one of my names from up above. George yelled, um, giving him a high five as they went back to, to their own goal. And if I use some dialogue, I also want to make sure that I include some actions here. He yelled, giving him a high five, right? Because usually it's not just one person speaks and they're just standing there with their arms at their sides. They're out there and they're actually doing something. They're yelling as they run by. They might be giving him a high five, that sort of thing. Make sure that if you're using dialogue, that your um, the quotation marks are up right next to that word right there, and then they go right at the end as well. And then you have your speaking part afterwards. Okay, give those a shot as you're working on your leads. These are three different opportunities to try leads, where you might try some description, describing the setting. You might do some starting with some action, or you might do some dialogue or speaking.